Welcome to the Out of Capes podcast for Jessica Jones Season 1 on Netflix. I'm your co-host, Stafa, and with me is the other co-host, Ali.
Hey guys.
So, we're going to be doing an entire overview and discussion and review on the entire season of Jessica Jones since the way how Netflix uh, runs their original series or their original content is that they release it all at once rather than a weekly schedule like regular TV. So we both finished watching all of season one, right?
Yep.
And we're just gonna just go over what we thought. So basically, the way how this show is structured is we'll talk about the characters first, then we'll probably talk about some of the key plot points, and then after that, we're going to review it. Give it a rating out of 5 stars, and then we'll probably compare it to like other comic book shows, just express how we think how it compares to those shows. So
Cool.
let's get going. Um, so first of all, let's talk about the characters. We have Jessica Jones, played by Kristen Ritter,
Mhm.
and I'm only familiar with Kristen Ritter from Breaking Bad.
Yep. I don't know. Does she play anything else?
Yeah, she's had other roles.
Oh, I only recognize her from Breaking Bad. So
Yeah. And as far as the comic character Jessica Jones, I am not familiar with her at all.
me neither.
Like before watching the show, well, I guess before the watching the show, the only familiarity I had with her was uh, watching some YouTube videos of people explaining who the heck she is because no one is familiar with who she is.
Yeah.
So, uh, basically, from those videos I've watched where they explain, her background and the Alias comics, which um, apparently her character has only existed for like 15 years.
Mhm.
So that she's
Only.
well, that's
Yeah, I know.
not
Comparatively
long.
speaking, yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's not very long for a comic
A
book
comic.
character.
Yep.
Like a lot of comic characters have been around for a long time.
Yep.
Like Batman and Superman have been for around forever.
Yep.
I mean, Spider-Man has been around since what, like the 60s or something.
I think so.
I
They're saying
mean,
about a
like
'60s show.
Stan Lee is at least 135 years old, so
Looking good for
Spider-Man.
135.
Yeah, well, he's actually like what 91.
I know he's still
He's
he's
still
still
looking
very
good
old.
for his age. But either way,
Anyway.
so Jessica Jones has only been around for like 15 years or so. She's a fairly new character.
Yeah.
Uh,
Relatively
and
unique. Yep.
yeah, but it, I feel like Kristen Ritter like really did a great job owning the character.
Yeah. I just
Like,
my issue is that I mean I don't know the character either, but as we said, like I only know her from Breaking Bad, so and her very edgy type personality just reminds me of Jesse Pinkman the whole time because that's just I mean Jesse Pinkman had that
hey,
one
Mr.
word.
White,
Well, yeah.
science.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the like more angsty kind of Jesse Pinkman. Because you know how he called people that one word, and then she
Yeah,
calls people that one phrase.
go
Like,
ahead.
is
This
that is
this
that a word?
this show
Oh, okay.
this show's not
It's not PG. Anyway,
whatever.
so Pinkman says bitch, and then she says asshole all the time. So um, yeah, it just I don't know. It reminds me. Wait, like every time she says it, I just think of that, and I can't help it.
She like that was her favorite word in the
It
entire
really was.
series. Well, like I think
You're
that
not yourself, asshole.
well, from what I understand, in the comics they drop the F bomb all the time,
Uh huh.
and I think they just because they weren't allowed to use that word on this Netflix series, they decide to go with a hole
You
and all
know,
that.
I think they should have went all out with it. Um, and I mean, I guess we'll discuss the themes later.
Hmm.
But like,
But
the go ahead.
I feel like she really put a lot of effort into um, basically expressing the character as far as like her PTSD, and not only that but her snarkiness, her snarky attitude.
Hmm.
Like I feel like it's to the level of like um, Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark.
Yeah,
Like when I think of Robert Downey Jr., like at this point, it's like Tony Stark is the first character that comes to my mind now when I think
yeah,
of Robert Downey Jr.
yeah,
And like I like I really feel like Tony Stark Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is like the face of Marvel, and Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones is like doing a really good representation of like the Netflix end of the Marvel universe.
yeah. I mean, I suppose that makes sense
I mean, like
because
I feel like it's
like
even more
Daredevil, like he had a great performance, but it wasn't really a
like
memorable.
Charlie Cox, I believe his name is.
Oh,
Um,
is that the actor's name?
yeah,
Okay.
I mean he was fine,
Yeah,
but it wasn't like just that. It wasn't like you said, it wasn't that memorable.
yeah. I wasn't in your face or anything like that. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, like even though I don't fully like the character, I mean, she performed well. So,
Yeah. Um, but like I mentioned, I do find the whole PTSD thing with her character. I mean, it's a unique uh like character trait,
yeah.
and I think she did a good job with it.
Hmm.
Like despite her being a really powerful character, she showed a lot of fear and weakness at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the next main character would probably be Trish, Patricia
Hmm.
Walker,
Yeah.
played by Rachel Taylor. And like the only thing I am familiar with her work is she was in Transformers.
Oh,
I guess she was a person in there.
I
Like
don't
like, like
recall that.
I remember like when I was watching Jessica Jones, I'm like, man, she looks really familiar. And I had
Yeah.
to look at her IMDb, and I was like, okay, I guess she was in Transformers somewhere, like one of the background people.
Of course.
So I guess that's where I remember her from, but she wasn't like a main character or anything. She was like one of the people somewhere.
Yeah.
But basically,
I
some
thought her
background.
performance was okay.
Yeah, it was all right. Some background on her character though is that uh, basically Patsy Walker was a character from like the 40s,
Hmm.
and she was her comic was basically supposed to be competition for the Archie comics. Like
Hmm.
it was a teenage romantic comedy, high school thing,
Yeah.
and like I just saw some like cover art, and it looked exactly like Archie comics.
Yeah. Same
Um,
style and whatnot.
yeah. So basically, later on, when they introduced Patricia Walker into the Marvel universe, like it was always under Marvel, but it wasn't. like the same universe per se. It wasn't like the same style and everything.
Yeah.
So like once they started adding her into the Marvel universe, she got introduced as Hellcat. Uh, I don't really know much about her. She's a very minor character. She's been in the Avengers and Defenders and other teams as well. Um, she fights crime, knows martial arts, and has some kind of like a mystic power. But basically, the way how they explained the Patsy comics is that basically they said, "Oh, her mother made those comics to try to like profit off of her daughter."
Yeah.
So those comics exist. The real life
The
comics
real. Yep.
exist in the Marvel comic universe.
That's meta.
That is meta. That's deep.
Meta. It's real
Yep.
deep.
So, but I do like the way how they portrayed that in the show. They
Yeah.
basically made her Hannah Montana.
Yeah. Well,
So
adult Hannah Mont. Well, I mean, Miley Cyrus is adult now, but she's older. Uh,
yeah,
um.
but I know I mentioned this to you like earlier off before we started recording
Mhm.
that I do like the realism with uh them trying to explain her martial arts, but yet she still can't really take on a guy that's twice her size and is also trained in combat.
What are you talking about, Staffa? Please elaborate for us.
So like, so basically, she's doing the Krav Maga,
Yeah.
to show that she knows self-defense.
Uh huh.
But then when Will Simpson comes in, he like basically beats the crap out of her.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
when you look at other TV counterparts,
like
um,
Arrow.
the Arrow, you have certain people training for just a few weeks and becoming
Yeah.
essentially a superhero, a
Yes.
vigilante.
Yes.
So
You have Laurel going from knowing basic self-defense to becoming Black Canary
yep,
within like a month.
yep, that's dedication.
Yeah.
It's her as it's
While,
her.
while Patricia Walker, she's for 6 months. She said, didn't she say 6 months, right?
I think so, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, she said she's been training for 6 months,
Yeah,
and yeah, you could get good in 6 months, especially when you're very dedicated, like how she is. But she's going against a guy who also, has combat training,
yeah.
and he is literally twice her size.
He's swole, too
Like
swole to control.
yeah, like I mean, she's what 90 pounds, and he's probably like 180.
Something like that. Yeah,
So that would literally make
he'd be
him twice his
literally twice
size.
the size. Yeah,
So you have more muscle and also trained, therefore, that person would win in a fight.
uh,
So it just makes it more believable. This isn't
yep,
like I'm not trying to like, you know, try to like be sexist and say, "Oh, she's a woman, she's going to get beat up." I'm just being real here.
yeah.
If you have
It's more grounded.
yes, it's grounded. I, if it was like let's turn Trish into a guy. If she was a 90-pound man going against a 180-pound man, all right,
Hmm.
the 180-pound man is going to win against the 90-pound man if like the 180-pound man has constant training and the 90-pound man has 6 months training. You know,
Yep.
it's just that's why you have weight classes in boxing
And
and MMA and
boxing.
everything.
Yep. Exactly.
You know,
Anyway,
so
what'd you think of the performance?
she was pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought
at,
she was
at
good.
like at times I think the character was maybe too like perfect.
Yeah,
Like she
for being like physically and mentally abused, too perfect doesn't match.
I mean
You know.
she was very nice.
Uh huh.
Like she always wanted to help Jessica out despite Jessica being, a jerk to her.
Uh huh.
Like at a certain point, a, a real person would probably be like, you know what, we're done. Get
Yeah.
out of my life. Stop flying up to my balcony and coming
Yeah.
through my back door.
Yep.
You know,
Her
but
character sometimes reminds me of Joe, though, like kind of that overbearing. I
Joe from
know that's
Flash,
yes from Flash. Sorry, like
no.
oh, not as bad, but like there are moments where she's like that overbearing type. Um, I don't know, guardian type character, which is kind of annoying. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too tired of Joe's shit, and every time some other character slightly resembles that, I just go insane.
No, I liked her. I think she was a good character,
Oh
and
yeah,
her
yeah,
performance
yeah,
is pretty good.
yeah. The
But
performance is good too. I think
um,
actually overall the performances, in the show have been pretty good. But we'll cover
yes.
more. We'll cover more of that. Next
We have
person.
Kevin Thompson, aka Kilgrave, played by David Tennant, who I guess most people know as one of the Doctor Who's.
Yep.
I've never watched Doctor Who, so
Yeah, he's. It's kind of funny because like when they first showed him, I was like, "That's Doctor Who."
have you watched Doctor Who?
No, but I've seen like all the different pictures of all the different Doctor Who's because there's been like I don't know 4 or 5 of them or something, maybe more
Kilgrave.
now.
First of all, I love how Jessica Jones mocks how ridiculous that name is.
Yeah,
Secondly, they kind of spelled it differently from the comics. The comics
it's
actually has two
it's
L's.
two L's because it's more obvious in the comics.
Yeah. Um, but I think he killed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I know
He
he's like his original character is supposed to be Croatian, but I think in a ridiculous British guy works too.
Croatian. What the heck is that?
Huh?
Oh, Croatia. Okay.
Yeah, he's the original character is supposed to be Croatian.
Okay.
Yeah, from Croatia.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I mean he did he came off as sleazy, slimy, disgusting, whatever synonyms you could think of, and
He was
like
messed up.
his like emotional reactions and stuff like it all worked out. Like
Like
when
he
he was
he did
mad,
not
he
know
looked mad.
he did not know the difference between right and wrong, and he only cared about himself.
Let go, Jessica. Slow motion. It's like,
like
man,
I
that guy's insane.
like it was crazy when I really like the episode where Jessica goes out and like pretty much has him become Obi-Wan Kenobi and save the day.
Oh yeah.
And then when and I also really like how she even said, "Okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi." Like I was thinking the exact same thing. and she, and she immediately said it.
Of course.
And and when they got back, and he's like, "Oh no, I can't do this on my own. I need you to do it with me because I don't know the difference between right and wrong." I was gonna make him blow his brains out. And like I thought that was like an amazing moment in the show. Just
Hmm.
like it was like just a defining moment for that character that
Yeah.
points out that he just really does not care about anyone else in this world. And like a lot of people would ask, "Oh, well, if you have mind control, why don't you like become like ruler of the world or whatever?" And that moment really explains why a person with mind control wouldn't like rule the world, because he does not care. He
Yeah.
he he lives in nice uh you
Nice
know
places, gets nice
not,
food, has
yeah,
nice clothes.
yeah, he just
People yell at him. He tells them to shut up.
yeah, as he's just eating well and dressing well and having people drive him in nice cars, and why do anything else?
Yeah, why become a world leader when you have everything you want?
Yeah, like he just does not care.
Hmm.
So, I think that was a really good defining moment, and what great performance. I think he is the best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now.
Mm, he does come off. I mean, Kingpin came off too creepy, but yeah, I think Kilgrave is definitely up there.
Like I really like Loki. I think Loki is one of the best in the Marvel
Yeah,
Cinematic
that
Universe.
was also a great performance too. Great
Yeah,
actor.
but I I think Kilgrave probably just nudges him out and
He's a
takes first
disgusting
place.
guy. I mean, he straight up like rapes people and
Yeah,
child abuse and everything. Like that dude does not care.
yeah, and that's another thing. They were not afraid of mentioning the R word, rape.
Yeah.
They did not even dance around it. They straight up said it. Jessica like addressed it, and she was yelling at him about it. And
Yeah.
Hope, she had to have an abortion. That was a messed up moment in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't fun to see her, get an abortion. It wasn't like entertaining, but it was like it just it was there. It was enough to like just show how messed up the situation is.
Yeah.
Anything else on Kilgrave before we move on?
Nope. We got quite a few characters to go through. So
Um,
next one is
yeah, Malcolm. He was the neighbor
uh-huh.
by Aaron Moriarty. He was pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. He
Pretty good.
became like he was like a background character at first, but then became an essential character.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, I think he was better as a background character. It was more like you just see him randomly like high and whatnot. It was I don't know. It was like it added to I guess the atmosphere if that makes sense.
uh-huh.
I mean he was still a good character when he cleaned up, but um
Well,
like he
I think one of the things this show did well was turning the background characters into main characters. Cause
yeah
like
foreground.
him like start off as a background character, not in the like Will Simpson. Like I thought he was gonna be gone after the whole assault
Yeah.
thing. Like I thought like that was gonna be at the end of him, but then he came back. But we could talk about him
Yep. In a
later.
minute.
Yeah, in a
Um
minute.
and Ruben.
Anything else on? What's that?
The two other background characters, Ruben and Robin. Yeah, they became foreground. Well,
Yeah.
a little bit foreground.
At first I thought they were just there for like comic relief
Yeah.
because like the way how like they're always yelling through the walls, and Jessica confronting them and
Hmm.
whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
um like I just thought it was supposed to be comic relief, but it came off as like weird dark comedy.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I think Robin was maybe a bit too over the top as far as her being crazy.
I don't know. I mean, she was. I mean, she was crazy, but
She was an unlikable character, and I understand that she was supposed to be unlikable, but
yeah,
I think she was a little bit over the top.
yeah. Anyway, we could talk about more about Robin and Ruben.
No,
So,
I think that's all that we have to talk
oh,
about. I mean, is there anything else to say about them?
I actually thought Ruben was gonna be like a gifted person because he was so awkward
Uh huh.
and he didn't really have a purpose. But I mean, they do have that moment where it's like, uh, oh, I love her, and then Kilgrave, Kevin kills Ruben because, um,
Oh, he was gifted at making banana bread.
yeah, gifted is it had crack in it. It didn't have
Yep.
crack in it, did it? No, the secret was nutmeg. Um. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping that he would have been gifted, but whatever.
All right.
Anyway, moving
Uh,
on.
Luke Cage
Luke
by
Cage.
Mike Coulter. Like at first,
That dude's
before even watching this,
yeah,
when I saw who they casted, and I looked up pictures of this guy because I didn't know who he was.
yeah.
Um, I was like, man, this guy's too small.
He's the biggest guy in the whole show.
But like, okay, so the on Agents of Shield,
Uh
Mac.
huh. Yeah, Mac.
When I first saw that dude, I'm like, man, this guy, they should have got this guy to play Luke Cage.
It's-
Because Mac is
I
a
think I
huge
remember.
dude.
Yeah, I do remember you saying that.
And that's why I wasn't too happy with this other guy, because he looks smaller than Mac.
But he's huge.
Yeah, but okay,
He's
so
built.
maybe he pumped some iron and like, chewed on some protein pills. And I mean, other than him being big, I liked his performance.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with Luke Cage in the comics, other than when he appears in the Daredevil comics I've read. Like a few
Yeah.
times he's appeared on there. Like I haven't read Power Man comics or uh, Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I haven't read any of those. I've only read Daredevil, and he's appeared in there a few times.
Hmm.
But I was pretty sold with him.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by his performance. Also, uh, side note, the scene where like him and Jessica Jones are like staking out at that one place during the day.
Yeah.
He
He sticks
was
out like a sore thumb.
he was so dark that he looked like Noob Saibot on the TV I was watching him on.
That's how it was on. Well, I was watching.
like not
My TV's not the best, so during the day, like I can't play games that are based around darkness during the day. So
like
I was watching
he's wearing a
that.
black shirt and, his skin tone is especially dark.
Yeah.
and, and I'm like, am I watching a Mortal Kombat movie? This is
Oops.
Noob Saibot.
Well, it was like a very bright scene too, because they also had like everything around them was white, because the roof concrete was white, like
The sky was bright
the
blue.
sky was yeah. So like it was just a very bright scene, and then you just have like and then you have Jessica, who's also like white. She's as white can get. So yeah, just you just have this contrast. It's pretty funny though.
It's like you gotta make him wear a black shirt. Come on now, make him wear a yellow shirt like he does in the comics. But anyways, Luke Cage, pretty
Yep.
good. I liked him. Oh, I really liked his line when him and Jessica are in bed, and he's like, "Is it the race thing?"
she she like looked at him wide eyed and she was like, "Oh God, no, no, it's not." And he was like, I'm just messing with
Is it?
you." Yep.
Also apparently, in the comics he says "Sweet Christmas" a lot. That's his tagline, and he said it a couple of times in the series.
Oh, I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, that was something I did not pick up, but others who are Luke Cage fans did pick that up.
Oh, okay.
Jerry Hogarth, played by Carrie Ann Moss. She is Iron Fist's lawyer. So she's probably going to be back in the future when they have the Iron Fist series.
Are they doing an Iron Fist series?
Yes.
Have they confirmed it?
Yes.
Or
They are going to have an Iron Fist series before they do Defenders.
oh, okay. Interesting.
Yes. Like it's going to be Daredevil season 2, then Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist, and then Defenders.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So Jerry Hogarth, who is a male in the comics,
Hmm.
they gender bent Jerry to be a woman in the
Isn't the
show.
actress Trinity the person who played Trinity in Matrix?
You know what? I think you're right.
I didn't look, but I think it is her. It reminds me of her. So,
Yeah, it is totally her. I did
uh,
not even
did you just search?
realize that.
Oh,
Yes, I just searched. Um, I she just like reminded me of Claire
Claire.
Underwood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. See, that's what I thought of first, but then I was like, that is definitely not her. So I was like,
Yeah, I
who's
knew
like
it wasn't her, but it's like just the way how she dressed and her hairstyle just
dress,
really,
hairstyle, demeanor as well?
yes. Like everything about her reminded me of Claire Under. Like I knew it wasn't her. Oh, I knew
Yeah.
it wasn't the same actress, but man, you're spot on. That's she is Trinity from
Matrix.
Matrix.
Yep.
But yeah, uh, I felt like her relationship stuff was mainly, I don't know, mainly a distraction. I didn't feel like it tied in with the rest of the stuff. But
Yeah.
I think the only thing that it brought to the table was that it showed that there was more depth to her character. Like she had uh, a life of her own rather
Yeah.
than just the lawyer person who's there to help out Jessica when she needs lawyer help,
Yeah.
law help, I suppose. Oh, I skipped on my list that I have here. Will Simpson,
Oh,
played
yeah.
by Will Travel.
That's right. Yep. Um.
In the comics, he is Frank Simpson,
Oh, okay.
aka Nuke.
Yep.
So I'm a little bit familiar with this character. I saw him in the Born Again comic by Frank Miller, which is a Daredevil comic. I think that's his first appearance as well. I might be
Okay.
wrong. But Nuke is basically like he's the same as Captain America except bad guy. He's crazy and he's like so obsessed with patriotism that
Yeah.
he has the American flag tattooed on his face.
Not in this show though.
Yeah, in the
In
comics.
the comic, yeah.
He I guess he also in the comics he also has the whole pill thing going on as well.
Yeah.
That's where he gets his super soldier superness. But
I think it's
I
funny that the pills are red, white, and blue.
yeah.
That's great.
uh, I do like how they made what was supposed to be what was presented as a minor character into like you know a supervillain, a Daredevil supervillain.
Yeah.
Um, although I do find it odd that when Kilgrave blew up the neighbor,
Uh huh.
uh, Will was the closest one, and the others died. He
Other side.
didn't.
He was too strong. That's why.
I guess so. I guess so, man. Um,
He wanted his vengeance.
and I guess next main character, Hope
Oh,
Schlotman.
but before we go to Hope,
Okay.
Simpson,
Yes.
the way he became like categorically insane at the end, I thought it was really well done. Like at first, he just seemed like this, like good looking dude, and he was just like kind of annoying, and then like when he started taking those pills,
Hmm.
like he was just like off the deep end, like you see it in his eyes and stuff like
Yeah. Well, plus they also like slowly like they slowly set that path from the beginning because like when he first realized like what have I done,
that. Yeah,
and he's like he himself felt violated,
Yeah.
and that set him towards the path of, you know, the law is not going to stop this guy from violating other people just the same way as he violated me, so I got to do something about it.
Yeah.
And the pills just pushed him even further.
Crazy. Anyway, yeah.
So
I just wanted to mention his craziness
yeah,
because I thought the acting was like well done.
yeah, not only the acting but like just the way how they set that up on the show.
Uh huh.
uh Other shows would just turn a character over one episode
Yeah.
into what they're gonna turn into.
Duh. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. So,
Okay, Hope.
Hope. Yep.
Hope was like my least liked character.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Like
like,
I
of
I
course.
get
Go ahead.
I get that she's supposed to be like in pain and suffering through this, and she's a victim. But like it just came off as incredibly annoying when she's like giving up so easily, and just doing dumb things like asking for Peaches to beat her up. And
Well, she wanted an abortion,
yeah, but like getting beat up is not the way to do it.
but yeah, but still, I mean, she did kill her two parents.
Yeah, but it
Um,
was, I don't know, like it just came off as a really annoying to me. Like
they could have done it better. I mean, I know that she was supposed to be the reason why Jessica was going through this whole ordeal of keeping Kilgrave alive.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. It could have been. It could have done. They could have done it better. Um, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, if it's easy to say if I were this person, I would do this. But like, if I were Jessica and Kilgrave kept on killing people, and I kept on failing at trying to keep him alive, you should just kill him, right? Just end it all there. Just,
Hmm.
I mean, she sacrificed many lives, or the safety of many lives to save one. I don't know. It's hard to justify. Anyway,
Yeah. We could talk about that when we go into like the plots and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yep.
I guess the last character I wanted to mention was Claire, from Daredevil, played
Mhm.
by
Oh, the
Rosario
nurse. Yeah,
Dawson.
yep,
Yes.
yep.
Um, it was really cool seeing her on the show.
Yeah, I did not expect it. I was like, hey, that's the nurse, isn't it?
Well,
Like
like
I didn't I didn't immediately realize it at first, but then I was like,
when
oh,
they
that's right.
showed a glimpse of her, I thought that was gonna be it,
Uh
but I
huh.
didn't realize that they were gonna like act. She was gonna like actually talk to Jessica.
Hmm.
Like I just thought it was gonna be like one quick cameo. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool cameo. Oh man, she's actually talking to her now. Now she's
Yeah,
actually gonna be in the whole episode.
yeah.
Where's our Stan Lee cameo? He's just a
Where's
picture.
Where's Daredevil?
You don't want to take the limelight away from Jessica Jones on her own show
Yeah,
during the first
this
season.
this isn't Flash and the Arrow.
Yeah.
Oh man, DC. Anyway, moving
Well, we
on.
can definitely use that Stan Lee cameo other than a picture.
Anyway,
It was the
uh, d-
same. Did you see the cameo?
no, I didn't.
It's a picture in the police office.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Yeah, it's like in the background. It was the exact same picture that they used in Daredevil. It
Oh,
was
okay.
like him dressed as a police officer in the background.
Of course.
Come on now, they need to do a better cameo with him.
Anyway, you wanna
Uh,
start flying through the
the
synopsis, the plot?
uh no, I don't want to like go through every episode. I don't think
Okay.
that's
Well,
necessary.
what about the quintessential moments? Like,
Yeah. Um.
first of all, how did you feel about the first episode? Let's start with the first episode, and then let's go to the next like big thing, because the first episode kind of set the grounding and whatnot. So
Mhm.
it's kind of weird because like the first episode was like a pilot. It felt like a pilot because the way she like talked to herself a lot. but
Yeah,
that
yeah,
never
that's
carried.
one thing I did not like about the show was her narration.
Yeah.
I think the show didn't need it.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
like that first episode had a lot of it though,
yeah.
and like
Um,
the other episodes didn't, and it didn't make sense to me why. Like it was like a pilot, and then they made changes to the episodes after that. I don't know. It felt weird.
like okay, so in House of Cards,
Uh huh.
I think that show benefits from Frank Underwood's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Like
He
his
actually looks
insight,
at the camera and stuff too.
yeah,
So
his insight and talking to the audience really helps, and like a lot of times it's hilarious the way how he like just starts smack talking people that are right in front of him.
yeah,
But like in this show, the the narration, it just didn't seem like it really helped. It didn't add anything. It just seemed kind of confusing as to like, is she writing in a journal or what's going on? Who's she talking to?
yeah,
Or is she just talking to the audience? Like I don't get it. Like I just didn't feel like it was necessary. But I do like the way how that episode ended, like the way how it gave you hope for that brief moment, and then just like tore it down and said, "Nope, this is not that show.
mm-hmm,
These parents are not gonna have a happy ending. In
yeah,
fact, it's this is just the beginning of this avalanche."
yeah. It was really. I mean, I wasn't expecting it either. So I mean, I don't think anyone did, to be honest.
Yeah. Um. One of the like side plots I liked was the lady who tried tricking Jessica and shooting her.
Oh yeah, that yeah, yeah,
Like it had nothing to do with the the overall plot, but it just made the world feel more busy,
yeah.
and that made it just feel more alive because
It
of how
it
busy her life is.
yeah. It didn't have to do with Jessica's direct story, but it had to do with the overarching like Marvel universe, because
Yeah.
they always reference the attack on New York and whatever and stuff like that. So
Well,
uh,
I wanna compare this to Arrow. In
oh,
Arrow, the way how the seasons are structured is that they have one big bad guy for the end, and
uh-huh.
they sometimes progress towards that, but for the most part they would have like a villain of the week.
Yeah,
And
you and I
that
have talked about this a lot.
that doesn't feel it just doesn't it's not good. It's
It's
not good at
hollow.
all. Yeah, like oh, this villain got taken down. Now a new villain has arose for this week. Like it just I don't know. Like you said, it's hollow.
Here comes a new
It,
challenger.
yeah. Now in Jessica Jones, she just has like all these things going on at the same time,
Yeah,
and it just makes it feel more busy and more natural that
it's
she has
it's
multiple things going on at once.
it's like you're playing Fallout, okay, and you're
Mhm.
doing the main story mission, and then
Yeah.
you do side missions, but your main mission's still going. You could just do the side missions, and you get done with the side mission, go back to the main mission.
Yeah.
It's not just like level one boss, level two boss, level three boss. Oh, and then you get a cutscene for story progression, level four boss, and then like by the time level 12 comes around, you beat the final boss. That's what the DC shows seem to do.
Mhm.
If that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. And sometimes when you're doing the side mission in Fallout, you come across another side mission that seems more interesting, so you stop that first side
You're
mission and
like,
go to the second
ooh,
side mission, and then you're like,
what is
"Oh, okay,
this?
I better get back to that side mission that I left."
Uh huh. Yep.
So, yeah. Um I
Anyway,
I liked the build up between Jessica and Luke.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
it was weird because they just had a bunch of sex at first, and then it was just like it's a lot of sex, and then they did the character building like after that. It was weird. Um, I don't know. I what I liked
she
was
needed the D.
he needed the pee.
No, he had plenty. He was getting plenty. He
Yeah,
didn't
he's getting
care.
it from elsewhere.
It was more for
Yeah.
her. She needed it.
What I liked
She needed
was
some little Luke, or is
uh,
it Big Luke? They call him
shut up,
Little Luke for a reason.
shut up, get out of here.
I liked when they introduced Luke's powers because
Uh-huh.
for people who aren't familiar with either Luke Cage or Jessica Jones, like the way how they kind of slowly introduced Jessica Jones' powers, like, oh, did she actually knock that door down from super strength, or was it just a weak door or something like that? And then
Yeah,
they kind of slowly show that she has powers. And
yeah,
then Luke Cage, for people who aren't familiar with him, they don't know he has powers until the same scene that Jessica Jones finds out he has powers.
yeah,
And I thought it was just very entertaining seeing him just literally swat the guys away.
yeah. Like
Like
someone
the
like broke a bottle and then like stabbed him with it, and he was just like,
like the way
he's
how
like,
he
he's
was
like, what are you
fighting them
doing?
was as if he was like annoyed by a fly.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, go away.
Have you ever seen that video, the I'm the Juggernaut?
Yes.
Silly bitch, do you not know who I am?
Colgate
That's
for the Juggernaut.
yeah. I am the Juggernaut. My suit's made of Laffy Taffy. But yeah, I mean, it's just like that she's that trivial, like what are you trying to do to me type deal.
Hmm.
I mean, he doesn't expect them to know that he's unbreakable and like
Yeah.
super strong strength, but he just like as you said, it looked like he was annoyed. They were breaking his stuff on his head, and he's just like, man, just
Hmm.
stop before I break you.
And speaking of their powers, I thought it was I kind of like the fact that they tried to make it a point that Jessica is a bad fighter.
Yeah, she
Like,
throws a lot.
yes, all she does is throw people.
Everyone I know, like they come that watch this show, they're like, man, like she just throws people. And then
Well,
it wasn't
like,
until like she punched like Kilgrave like once in the middle of the season, or not even middle, like it was like earlier than that. But then like she didn't really punch anyone until much later in the season.
well, I think it was probably because she was afraid she'd kill people. Like how she did with Luke's wife.
Yeah,
Like she punched his wife so hard that she died in one punch,
yeah.
and she probably doesn't want to kill anyone else, so she's throwing them,
Just
and she's
sword of
basically
strong, punch him in the head, knock him out. Just don't do
and
full strength.
like I'm surprised she didn't like do chokeholds more than once. She only did that one time.
It seemed like she struggled to do it too. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like a lot of the time, like she's supposed to be really strong. She took that like metal chair and bent it, and she broke out of those cuffs and everything. But like she struggles with other people way too much, and it doesn't make
How
any
did
sense.
Robin knock her out?
I don't.
That was an inconsistency that I did not like.
Yeah.
Like she gets hit by a bus, gets up and walks away with some broken ribs.
No, not a
Uh,
bus. It was like a truck, like
a
delivering
truck, a
mail or
bus, same
something.
thing. It's a big vehicle.
Big vehicle. Yep.
She gets hit and she gets up and walks away. Robin knocks her with a 2x4 and she's out for like an entire day.
Yep.
That don't make no sense. That's
It doesn't.
inconsistency.
It is
Um,
inconsistent. Her strength isn't like Luke's strength was consistently strong and unbreakable, but
mhm.
like her, it was just like the old dude. When he had the knife, Kilgrave's dad, like she ran up and grabbed him and grabbed his arm, and she was like struggling. It's like
Yeah.
just like flip him over and take the scissors.
Like I didn't
One and
get how
done.
come she when she got Hope and Hope was like I can't leave the bed. Like
Yeah,
my first thought was okay, if I was in Jessica Jones's shoes, I would like put her into a chokehold and just
yeah.
knock her out so that she won't hurt herself.
Just do a little claw on the shoulder or whatever they call it. I forget what that's called. Little knockout grip.
The Vulcan death grip?
Is that
Are you
does
talking
that
about
kill people?
Spock's Vulcan grip? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Just choke him out. That's it. Chokehold. Rear naked choke. Yeah, knock him out.
Anyway,
But any other like plots we want to talk about? I mean, we talked. I guess we talked about Kilgrave for a bit, but
I like the when Jessica goes to her home with Kilgrave.
yeah,
There's a lot of development there, and like you see like how much of an asshole Kilgrave is. Like he's like, "I want you to love me, Jessica," but like he's making these, these chefs like and the maid like they keep their eyes open like the whole time until
that was
Jessica
a
gets
weird
back.
part because it came off as more humorous than like
Yeah.
you know
Well, I mean,
evil and menacing.
he's still an asshole, so
Yeah,
emphasis on asshole.
you're brainwashed.
You're brainwashed, asshole. Throw. Anyway,
Um, yeah.
um,
Okay. One plot the plot I wanted to talk about or plot device I wanted to talk about that I wasn't too happy about was that she just happens to be the one to no longer be able to
affected.
be yeah affected by him and therefore kill him.
There, there could be only one.
Like I just felt like okay, so before that point,
Uh huh.
I was thinking, okay, she's gonna have to like try to come up with something really clever to take him out, you
And
know?
okay, so before we go any farther, she does
Yeah.
several times, and then she flubs it up,
Hmm.
and that really made me mad. Okay, continue.
Yeah. But you know, like at that point, it's like okay, now she's gonna just brute strength her way through all these, mind control people, and
Yeah.
then like get to Kilgrave and snap his neck.
Uh huh.
And like I mean, like I was happy with the way how the season ended, but I did not like the fact that you know she was no longer affected by the virus just because.
Yeah.
Like I guess the closest thing to an explanation was that
She developed
she
an immunity. She's the
well
missing link.
they I, she had a line where she said that she didn't want to kill Luke's wife and that's what snapped her out of it or
Yeah,
something like
they
that.
they did say something like that.
So I don't know. I felt like that was probably the weakest part of the plot.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
Um, in the comics, I believe, from what I understand, they basically she gets with Jean Grey to give her like these mental blocks so that she can no longer get affected by Purple Man's mind control.
Yeah, because it wasn't a virus in the comics, was it? It was just like straight up
I think it's like his
telekinesis.
pheromones or something like that
Oh, was it? Okay.
in the comics. Like his purple skin emits pheromones. That
Sexy.
yep,
Man,
exactly.
I'm so attracted to this purple man. It's like going to going to IHOP and then getting eggs and ham, but it's like green. That looks delicious.
You know,
Green eggs and ham.
uh, come to think, in Fables, the comic that Wolf Among Us is based off of,
Uh huh.
Prince Charming is like the exact same character as Purple Man.
Of course.
Prince Charming, well, like, he controls women. Like they find him so charming that they do whatever he says. But that's just a side note, just
Yeah.
tangent. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for something more clever for her to take out Kilgrave. I do
Yeah.
like the fact that they made him turn purple for a brief moment, just for the comic
Yeah.
fans.
That the not the medicine, the serum or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Um.
I like that. I don't know. I just wish the more clever moments were more successful because
Mhm.
they were actually clever and like you wouldn't expect it to happen. The time she was at the house and then she, um, got whatever stuff in the Chinese food for the two people, and then she took him out.
Yeah.
So it's just like that could have been it, but like it just kept on messing up again and again and again. It
Yeah.
reminds me of like to me in my head I call that like horror movie incompetence because like you watch a horror movie and you're like don't do that, don't go in that door, the killer's behind the door, don't do
Don't
it,
open.
don't open it, and they do it every single time, and they get themselves killed, and it
Don't
just
split up. Stay
like
together.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just those. It feels like artificially lengthening the story. Like it could have ended right there, type deals. But of course, a lot of movies and shows are like that. It's just like you know, video games are like that too. You see this guy in the beginning, you could have killed him. Nope. But I
Speaking
don't
of
know.
like scary and horror,
Uh huh.
when when Jessica first finds Kilgrave, after he tells Will Simpson to jump off the roof,
Yeah.
like when she sees him and he's like looking at her through the glass,
Yeah.
like that was so creepy.
Hmm.
Like because we didn't actually see him like in the present time until
Yeah.
that point, and
Yep.
like just the what his like expression on his face, like you're
It's like
here,
yeah. Oh shit.
like that was and also like you don't really know how his powers work at that point,
Yeah.
so it's like he sees her. Is she gonna be mind controlled at this
Yeah,
point?
she's screwed up. Is she done
Yeah,
for?
yeah, like that was just a really creepy moment, and I think the build up to that was really good.
Hmm.
Um, Trying to think of anything else that we want to talk about. Uh,
Not that I could think of.
just go look through these episodes really quick.
Oh, the whole child test things was kind of disturbing.
hmm Oh, I guess one last thing I want to talk about was like the fact that like in your superhero shows,
Uh huh.
it's like they basically make it a point for the superheroes to not kill the bad guy because of morality, because
Yeah.
if you cross the line, you're no different than they are,
Yeah.
and except for Flash.
Except for Flash.
Except for Flash, where it's like, hey, let's give this guy cancer.
Let's kill this guy, or let's put him in a jail forever,
Yeah.
or
Except for Flash, they don't care.
I don't
But
care.
you know,
It's kill a
and
guy, put him in a box. Oh, well, good job, guys. Good job.
let's
Pats on the
radiate
back.
let's radiate this person until he gets cancer and instantly dies.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like usually it's all about, hey, you're no different than they are if you kill them, and in this, basically, uh, she didn't care about killing, but it was more about she wanted to get Hope out of trouble
Yeah.
until Hope was dead. Then it's like,
Hope
okay,
is that okay? Let's just get this over with.
yeah. So I thought that
Which
was an
is
interesting point with her character that it's
yeah.
like gotta kill.
Gotta kill 'em all, Pokemon.
Yep. So I think that's all I have as far as
Yeah,
talking about
me too. That's it.
the show. Let's review.
Review.
Oh, sorry. Give a rating. Let's
Give a
give a
rating.
rating.
Yep.
Yes. Um. So I out of 5 stars,
Mm-hmm.
I would give this. Um.
Are we doing whole stars only?
Yes, only whole stars. No
Okay.
point 5 or
Okay.
whatever.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll give it 5 throws out of
Uh,
5.
5 out of 5.
Yes, 5 throws out of 5.
Okay. Um.
I am not sure if someone's nailing something on a wall or if someone's knocking on my front door.
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
assuming someone's nailing something on a wall because I have a doorbell.
Yeah. I could hear that a little bit. Anyway, let's wrap this up. So I was
Yes.
gonna say, I'm kind of torn between 3 and 4 stars, but what I would consider three is something like The Flash. So I'll say 4 stars.
Okay. Let's start comparing this to other superhero shows real quick.
Okay.
Daredevil.
Daredevil. I think Daredevil is better. The character for Jessica is a lot more memorable, but I like um, Murdoch better.
You know, I it's hard for me to say which show is better. I
Mhm.
feel like I like Daredevil slightly more. I might be biased because I really like Daredevil. The comics. I've actually read the comics.
Yeah,
So I might be biased because of that, but I will say that Jessica Jones has better characters.
yeah. I mean, I like the action and like the set pieces for like Daredevil were a lot better. They also had a lot of drama as well, but I think the tone um, for Jessica Jones is more interesting. I mean, just like having the topics of rape and child abuse and all these things is definitely different. So,
Um,
but I
yeah.
do still like Daredevil better.
Yeah. Uh, Quick comparison to Powers. This is not going to be a long discussion at all,
Nope,
but
not
I
at
just want
all.
to compare it to Powers because, first of all, Alias and Powers were both written by Michael Bendis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same writer.
Okay.
Uh, but as far as the shows go, and also they're both trying to be extremely dark, like
Yeah.
the darkest end of the spectrum.
Uh
So they're both on the Luke Cage end.
huh. That's racist.
But it's dark chocolate. But anyways, Powers, they actually dropped the F bomb on that show.
Yeah.
So that was them trying to be dark, just them dropping the F bomb. But
But
like
that
overall, the
show was
show,
too hokey. That's the
yes,
thing. Even though the F bomb was never dropped in Jessica Jones, just the way it was executed was so much better.
and they explored darker themes like
They did.
rape
Yes, they
and
did. As opposed to just
abortion and
bullies.
all that.
Yep.
So that's the end of the powers discussion.
Yep.
Throw that out of the table, back into the trash for you powers.
Back into trash it goes. Anyway,
Shield.
Shield. Um,
I think it's a better show than the Shield, but Shield's still pretty good.
I think Shield's
It's different.
overall story, I don't know, it's been more captivating. Then again, it has had more seasons. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's a toss up for me. They each have
Shield's
their place.
also been through a big evolution.
It has. It has.
It's evolved. Like if you compare, like
Figuratively and literally.
yes, like it's. I mean, like if you look at like the characters, the writing, like all the characters were one dimensional. Most of them were unlikable,
Yeah.
and then they've evolved them to become you know fully fleshed out characters that have more to them, and whether their acting has improved or they like just became better characters and more tolerable.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like it's just become a better show. But um, I think they're also too different to even compare.
Yeah. They are. They're a lot different.
Flash.
I mean, like I like the Flash, but DC, like we've talked a lot of the time, a lot about DC's issues with their TV shows. They don't take their storyline too seriously,
The way
and
how both those shows, Flash and Arrow, have villains of the week.
yeah, and like one thing that is telling to me is that every big like when an episode of Flash or the Arrow starts, they have that like dopey monologue, okay, explaining the whole thing.
My
You
name is
know,
Barry Allen, and I'm the
my
fastest man
name's
in the
Barry
world.
Allen, yeah, and like
My
my
name's
name is
Oliver
Oliver
Queen.
Queen.
I
Yeah,
spent 5 years in hell. Now I'm back. I had to become
no,
something else.
you had to
I
be
had to become
exact.
someone else.
Brainy. You know what I'm talking about because they did on
Da
that
da
last
da
episode of
da da
Flash.
da 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 da.
Yeah,
Mwah.
exactly. And they don't take it seriously, and like if when they start treating it more like a show, like Agents of Shield, I think that's more similar to something like CSI. Okay,
Mhm.
it's like tonally similar, structurally similar, but
But they're
like
also adding a lot of the whole superhero element to it with the Inhumans,
oh yeah,
the
no, I'm
Flash.
not talking about. I mean, yeah, but just like I don't know, Flash and Arrow, they like I want to know what's going on with Zoom, but they keep doing these like goofy episodes where Cisco's got to vibe something and like Arrow's got to come visit, and it's just like it's too much distraction. They don't put enough investment into making the steak delicious. They just it's just like, oh, here's a I don't know, here's a beef
So
patty
so the
instead. It's like here's a Salisbury steak.
the thing with Flash and Arrow,
Uh-huh.
like I'm afraid that okay, so all right, Flash and Arrow were both very successful. All right,
Uh-huh.
I think Arrow has been losing some of its success. Like less people are watching Arrow at this point.
Uh-huh.
Um, but CW made a lot of money from Flash and Arrow,
Uh-huh.
and I feel like I'm going to compare this to NCAA. Okay,
Okay.
and the NCAA, you have college students who are basically, they're getting free education.
Yeah.
They are not getting paid for playing though.
Yep.
Uh, and the NCAA is making millions off of the basketball and football, NCAA basketball and football.
Yeah.
But their reasoning as to not paying the players, they're making so much money, is that, well, we have like, volleyball and golf and bowling and like all these other divisions that make us absolutely no money at all.
Yeah.
So we need to use that money to fund
Offset.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm afraid that CW might be like doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing for their other garbage shows that no one
Yeah.
even knows about because
Yeah,
what
it's
other
like,
shows do they have? We don't know. It's
yeah,
Flash
like
and Arrow.
we gotta have money for the originals and Supernatural and whatever else, Vampire Diaries or what, I don't even know. Like
Yeah.
some they take the successful shows and drain the money out to fund the non-successful shows.
They siphon it out like
Yeah.
gasoline.
So I'm afraid that that might be. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that is the reason, but that's my guess as to
It
why
feels like it. It feels like
why
it because you don't see that budget going back into the, you don't see the budget for the show getting bigger. You
yeah,
see the same type of like special effects. You see the same crew. You don't see, massive set pieces. They're always either in the, Star
Star Labs.
Labs or in some like warehouse where they could just move stuff around and it's a new place. So
That's one thing with Jessica Jones that like it felt like it was all over the place.
yeah, it was.
Like
There were a lot of different places.
yeah, like I mean the only real sets that they kept on reusing were like Jessica's
Her room
apartment
and
and
Trisha's apartment.
yeah, and Jerry's office.
Yeah.
Like those are like the main places that they kept reusing, but like other than that, they're like all over the place.
Yep.
Especially when they went to the Jessica's house for those couple of episodes or so.
Yep.
It just really felt like they were going places.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's Flash and I guess Arrow as well.
Arrow as well because they suffer the same issues.
Have you
Anyway,
watched Supergirl at all?
no,
Okay, so I've only watched one episode of Supergirl.
that looks
So
hokey as well. So it's
it is a completely different animal than Jessica Jones. Like
yeah.
the Jessica Jones is like it's let's say it's a hawk, all right?
Uh huh.
Supergirl, the
It's a
show,
dodo.
it's something
It's a
like
dodo bird. It's already dead.
it's not even a bird, it's more like a fish. It's Nemo.
Okay.
Go find Nemo.
Anyway,
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
And I guess what do we expect from the future of the show?
I
Um,
don't. It's hard to. I have no idea who they're going to do for the next villain or
f-
next challenge.
so I think I talked about this on Out of Continues, and I think you were on the show.
Uh huh.
Um, oh yeah, Adam was on the show. Okay.
Okay.
So I talked about it in Out of Continues, but it's been confirmed that there will not be a season 2 until after the Defenders series.
Oh, that's a long ways away.
Yeah,
Okay.
because contractually they have to have the Defenders series made within a certain time.
Okay.
So there's no room to fit Jessica Jones season 2 within that time frame.
Okay. That's interesting.
Um, because like I mentioned, they got Daredevil season 2 that's like coming out in like February. They
Yeah.
have Luke Cage season 1.
Uh
They
huh.
have Iron Fist, which they don't even have the character cast yet.
Uh huh.
Then they have to have Defenders.
Yep.
There is also a possibility of Punisher
Hmm.
and possibility of Moon Knight.
Huh. Okay. That's a lot of
Yes,
stuff to get done.
but Punisher and Moon Knight might not be until after Defenders.
Okay.
Because they have to have Defenders by a certain time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so
I
I
mean,
guess there's not.
I'd definitely watch season two.
Yes.
So.
Uh, the way how they are setting everything up makes me very excited to see them all together.
Hmm.
Uh, because I feel like the way how they've been doing the movies. They had like a Iron Man movie, Thor movie, Hulk movie, and then they put them all together in Avengers.
Hmm.
Like just building them up slowly like that got me very excited for Avengers, and then they did really well with Avengers.
Yeah.
Um, the way how they do it in Flash and Arrow, it's like let's introduce Barry on Arrow. Let's introduce Cisco and Caitlin on Arrow. Let's
Yep.
have an episode where everyone's together, but like each character has like two lines, literally,
Yep.
or maybe one line, because we have so many characters on the screen at once.
Yep.
No, that's not how you do it. I feel like Marvel. I mean, like Shield has a huge cast,
Hmm.
but never do I feel like Shield. uh, they have characters in there for no reason at
For no
all.
reason. Yeah.
One side note. This is a quick tangent. I was watching an interview with the actors who play Daisy and Lincoln,
Yeah.
and they were talking about how they were talking to each other in a certain scene, and they both had their arms crossed, and they're not supposed to like both have the same pose. So Chloe Bennett, I think that's her name.
Yeah.
She like tried to like uncross her arms naturally, but ended up doing it in like a really goofy way. So they both started cracking up.
Yeah.
Um, so like they had to redo that scene. Like that's I don't think that they have that same rule on Arrow
They don't have
and
that same.
Flash
They don't
because
consider all these different things. They just kind of like, oh,
because
this is
I
a good shoot.
so they had that crossover episode with Flash and Arrow,
Yeah.
and everybody is there in their
Holding.
hideout, and
Yeah.
they all have their arms like just to their sides. Every single one of them, they all have their arms to their sides.
I don't know
It,
what to do with my hands.
Yeah, exactly. Like they couldn't have like one person with their arms crossed, another one with their hands on their hips, another person leaning against the wall. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they don't do that. They just have every single actor is standing there with their arms to the sides, which looks goofy.
Uh-huh.
It just looks very goofy. People don't stand like that. Especially everybody. Literally everybody.
Yep.
But yeah, all right, let's
Anyway,
let's
yeah.
let's uh let's wrap things up.
Yep.
If you enjoy what you've been hearing, you can support us by liking us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, leave an iTunes review. You can contact us by email. That's capesavcontinues.com. All those things I mentioned can be found on the website. That's www.avcontinues.com/TV podcast. And you can give me a tweet. I am at Sayed Stafa. That's at SAYEDSTAFA.
I am at Phosphor112. That is at PHOSPHOR112.
And with that said, I'm Stafa. And you are?
Ali?
Yes.
Question mark?
Yes. I'm
Yep.
Stafa.
Okay.
And he's Ali.
Yep.
Uh, check out the other Out of Capes podcasts if you watch The Flash. That's Eric and I. We do it every week. The only reason why Eric didn't do this podcast with me was because he didn't really watch Jessica Jones yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, got Ali on here.
Yep.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.